Hello, I'm Simone Fenton-Jarvis, a co-host of the Workplace Jam, alongside Louisa Clark. We are the co-founders at the Human-Centric Workplace. So thanks for joining us, and here's the next episode. Here we are, episode 2 of the Workplace Jam.
Can you believe it?
I know, we've made it to a second episode. We've actually found time.
I think what I can't really believe is the fact that it's been a long weekend. I've been away. It's been the hottest weekend. I'm sat here in a jumper. I'm not entirely sure what I was thinking when I decided to put the jumper on this afternoon. But you've got me straight back into episode 2.
Yeah. You might as well hit the ground running. Co-founder life and all that, innit? Maybe the other sticky topic is persuasion. And maybe that's because we've been speaking about persuasion quite a lot. There was something that I read yesterday, actually, and it was saying that how persuasion can often be seen as like you're manipulating somebody because you're persuading them to do something.
Right.
But actually, it's 20% strategy and 80% science.
Yeah.
And it's the science behind the persuasion. So then that made me question and go, oh, so is that manipulating? Because actually, if you've got knowledge, are you manipulating a situation with that knowledge?
Describe it as magic, right? So I think about the Cialdini's 7 Principles of Persuasion, for example, is the thing that we've been talking about most. And I describe it as magic. Maybe that's not the right way to describe psychology, but it's magic in your workplace or magic in those interactions that you're having, because you have an added advantage really over the people who don't understand the principles of influence or persuasion. You're effectively taking the psychology of principles and applying them to influence others. Is it manipulation? I don't know. Or is it just giving you an advantage?
I'd say it might feel like magic if you're winning business or you're managing to win a conversation, a debate, whatever. It might feel like magic, but the fact is that it's a learned skill, isn't it? Because as long as you've got the science and you can apply it, anyone can persuade.
I look at this, right, and I genuinely feel I wish I'd understood more about the science of persuasion a lot earlier on in my career.
Yeah.
I think there were times when I was bidding for work, looking to win business or with a client, and I didn't have those additional tools in my toolkit which would have got it over the line.
Yeah.
And when I look at the principles of persuasion now, I think, you could go into any client sort of tender or meeting and you could use all of them, and that is going to give you an added advantage. So if we think about the first one that we've talked about, reciprocity, the one that I like,
so you said it.
It took me 6 months to learn how to say it. So reciprocity, yay. But it's that when you give somebody something, they feel that they owe you something in return. And going to that meeting with that client, taking that box of biscuits, taking some sweets with you and going, I brought you this today. You're setting off the psychology of they owe you something. So you're already at an advantage.
Yeah. It's that kind of you go to a party and you give someone a present. You know that when your birthday comes round, even though you've not give to receive, you know that they are more likely to bring you a present. And I know that now, but I never understood it before around they got me a crap present. I don't want to get them a present. I don't even want to go. I don't want to. Oh, well, they got me one and they come to my party. I'm going to have to do it. It's the psychology, isn't it?
The psychology, the reciprocity. So, so going back to this client, you've got a slightly challenging client or you need to win somebody over, make the effort, go to the shop, buy the sweets, buy the chocolate, buy the biscuits, take them into that meeting with you, and all of a sudden you've softened things a little bit.
We said the 7 principles. Should we talk listeners through what they are? Obviously this is a half-day workshop that we deliver, so we'll have to do a quick version of it. But I do think that the average person would be really interested in this.
Okay, so we started with reciprocity, easy for me to say.
Second one, let's go through it. I just see the second one as the prime effect. Like, and scarcity, however you want to say it.
Well,
Scarcity.
whatever. Maybe I'm saying it wrong, but you're right. That prime effect. When everybody was rushing to Asda and Aldi to get this bottle of juice,
Yeah,
energy
yeah.
drink,
I
that's
was one of
probably
them customers as well.
no more special than any other
Yeah,
bottle of. But
and
it was the way that it was.
I was one of them, and I can't even at the time, I can't even put my finger on why I got hooked on to trying it. But obviously, it was
Because you
definitely
got
a bit of FOMO.
FOMO. You
It
got
was.
FOMO, you got fear of missing out because they created that, the,
Yeah,
the guy who brought it out, he brought this drink out and it was something special and you could only get so many bottles or there was only so many available. And so people had that fear of, well, if I don't get it now, I'll never will.
yeah,
So I need to go and do that. And it created that whole YouTube, there was videos on YouTube,
yeah.
wasn't there, around the security and
Oh,
people, almost rioting over these bottles of
yeah.
Prime.
Yeah, when in I think it was Aldi or Lidl, there was actually people like fighting on the aisle.
So,
What?
yeah, I mean, do we look back at that now and go, Prime, did we really care that much about a bottle of Prime? But,
Yeah,
at the time, people
yeah,
people did. And I think when we think about scarcity in the workplace, again, we've talked about like that tender proposal piece, for example, when we're in a presentation. And I think I say to people, when you talk about scarcity, you ought to be thinking about actually, what's the scarcity element around you going into that tender around, what have you got to offer?
yeah,
You were the only person offering it.
yeah,
Other businesses will offer things, but they'll offer it differently to the way you do. So do you create some scarcity around, you need to come with me because, or you need to come with this organization because we offer this and nobody else does. And if
yeah,
you don't go with us, you maybe will miss out.
yeah. It's almost like if you don't go with us, your competitor will come with us, and then you're missing out on this thing here
Yeah,
because they're going to get it. So it's
yeah,
that building that. And then the number three one, that's authority. And
yeah,
I could, this definitely where this one hits me hard is even from a basic consumer point of view, if a tube of toothpaste says recommended by dentists,
yeah.
I'm buying that toothpaste. If it was recommended by Auntie Jan, I'd be like, I'll go with the dentist, thank you very much.
Yeah, we like to trust those
Yeah,
people that we believe have the authority to tell us that it's the right thing to do. It works with policemen, firemen, dentists, doctors. And where that plays out in the workplace is really interesting as well. That bit right at the very beginning of a meeting where you go into this client meeting and we're all sat around the table, and the first thing that is asked of is, oh, should we do intros? Should we do
yeah,
introductions? Shall we introduce ourselves? And quite often it's a, hi, I'm Louisa Clark and I'm from so and so, and nothing more. Whereas this is your opportunity to build authority. This is your elevator pitch. This is the 30 seconds you've got to be, the ability to say, I'm Louisa Clark, I've had X amount of years and experience in this, I've done this, I've done that. And, if you want some recommendations, I can get you some referencing or whatever it may be to allow those people in the room to understand that you are an authority in your field. That is that's your opportunity to do that.
yeah. I struggle a little bit with the authority bit. Sometimes I forget to tell people that I've published a book, and I don't mention the fact that I've been doing this for 19 years or who I actually work with, because I think it's a bit of I feel like I'm showing off. I'm
Yeah,
like, oh,
I think we think, don't we, that if we do that, that people already know. So first of all, you had this idea that we feel like people look at us and go, well, I've heard that all before,
yeah,
so I already know you, as if they know us because we know each other or because we
yeah,
know us. But that's not true. So often you're walking into a room of people you don't know, so
yeah,
you almost need to take that opportunity to say, 30 seconds, look, this is why I'm the person for you. This is why I've got the experience. This is why I've got the authority. And not just go, hi, I'm Louisa.
yeah, yeah. There's a situation actually that I remember early on in my career. I was there as a lead consultant, and I think I must have said, "Hi, I'm Simone," and my colleague next to me said, "Hi, I'm," and they thought that I was there to take notes. And I was like, no, I'm your lead consultant, actually. And I felt it was really awkward. And they just thought I was his assistant. There was a lot of bias going on there. So I think there's a lot here around like the authority of actually like shout about what you've done and have the
Yeah,
confidence to do it. Obviously, don't overegg it because people think you're a pillock. But like at the same time, like you've got to kind of go, no, this is what I'm about.
I think so. And I think you're right. You've got to find that happy medium, the balance. But
Yeah,
ultimately, if you're in a room with somebody, um, and you are trying to get something done, you want to know that that person who is in that room with you knows what they're talking about.
yeah,
You want to know, you want that confidence, and that's what it builds. Authority builds confidence.
yeah,
In my coaching, uh, within the coaching piece, I like to talk about the authority of, being a qualified coach, having experience, having thousands of hours, having, the
yeah,
qualifications and the EMCC accreditation, because I want people to know that if they come to me, they're going to get the best level of coaching. Well, I feel they're going to get the best level of
yeah,
coaching because I've done the work.
yeah, yeah. Well, there's a thing there about competence, which is again probably another whole workplace jam in itself. But like authority and setting that authority out, it shows that you're competent. And like definition of competence is literally experience plus qualifications. So I
Yeah,
think there's, and you can then get into like the 10,000 hours thing, and I think you have to kind of go, no, this is what I'm about. And then once you've got that authority, the next one has got to be about consistency on it, and we always talk about consistency as well.
yeah, consistency is key. Again, we want to. Well, you used the really good example of Duolingo, didn't you?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. It's not even about learning a language. It's actually you just don't want to break that streak of, I've done this many days of learning this language for 5 minutes a day. How are these people going to these countries, talking the language and going, oh, it's because I've done a 300-day streak in Spanish. Like, is it giving people the confidence to actually speak the language? I don't know. I've not done it, to be honest. I can just about speak English, and Yorkshire. So yeah, I think there's definitely a lot in that though around the impact of consistency and showing people that you're consistently turning up and showing up,
Yeah,
and the safety that builds as well with people.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and it's that, I finish what I start, essentially.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
that commitment.
yeah.
So, yeah,
Consistency is key. We know as well. We talk about consistency all the time. When we talk about whether we're going to put something out on social media or whether we're going to change what we do or tweak what we do. But we've always talked about the idea of just being consistent,
yeah,
because actually there's be peaks and troughs, with
yeah,
whatever happens in the world.
yeah,
But actually, as long as we're consistent, and I've always worn that as a bit of a badge of honor, if I'm honest. I've always said, no
mhm,
matter what happens, I will be consistent. I will show up. I will do the things I've always done, because that creates a level of trust.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
if people can trust you, then
Yeah. And even that bit around once you've told somebody you're going to do something, how that actually then leads to more of that persuasion, more of a commitment. A good example, actually, my wife is doing a run challenge at the moment where she's basically running compete competitively 57 miles over the next 12 months in memory of a mum, and 57 miles in competitive running, but she's been obviously putting in stuff on like Just Giving and telling people the updates and like sharing photographs and stuff. But it's her holding herself to account, really.
yeah,
It's like, well, she's raised, I think, about 400 quid so far. So she's like, well, I've got to do it now because there's 400 quid in this pot.
well, yeah, yeah,
So yeah, yes, that's an interesting one. And then I think that leads then to liking as well.
yeah. So liking. So again, let's go back to, the principle of liking when we talk about our clients, and our interactions with them. It's rapport building. We like people who we get along with. We
Yeah,
like people who are like us, who we get on with. So
yeah,
again, you're going to see your client, you're going to have a meeting, you're going to walk into that meeting and you're going to want to build some rapport. So how was your weekend? How was your day? how's the family? It's that effort, putting that effort in to like allow people to believe that that you are showing an interest in
yeah,
them, and you're
yeah.
building that familiarity.
Yeah, that bit around rapport, like I always love it. Like when I go to like networking events and stuff, and they'll be like, "How's Patsy?" Which is my dog for anyone that doesn't know. Like how's your wife doing or whatever, and it's like, oh, you've been listening, like, and you're paying attention, and it makes you like them more as well because they're actually kind of like you know they've paid attention, and
Yeah,
you go, actually I'd like to keep talking to this person because it's not just kind of a, I don't know, sometimes in the past networking, I feel like some people just like looked at my job title and then decided if they wanted to continue to speak to me or not. It's like,
yeah,
oh, is she going to buy some stuff from me? Okay, well, I'll carry on talking to her then.
yeah.
Whereas I think that liking bit then that puts me off that. So yeah,
Yeah, I think it's such an important rapport building, and building relationships is such an important part of what we do.
yeah,
And if you don't put the effort in, just expect not to get
yeah.
it
And you
back.
know what? In a world as well where we're in this constant kind of learning phase. There's a lot of kind of expertise out there. There's a lot of qualifications that you can go down. When it comes to a tender environment, let's say, you in a traditional tender in like let's say a local government or something, you're getting points on each section,
Yeah,
right? That is going to go down to the wire. And
yeah,
actually, this is where I feel like liking is like one of the
yeah.
major things. It's like,
It's like
I like to
I
work with
don't,
them.
I really don't care what anybody else says about this, right? But we like to buy from people that we like. And
Yeah,
so, yes, there may be a competitive tender with all of the, with
yeah,
all of the aspects of this has been marked, that's been marked. But when it comes
yeah,
down to the wire, it's then going to be, who can I work with? Who
yeah,
do I trust? Who do I like? Who do I get along with?
yeah, absolutely. Social proof.
Okay, so again, back into we love this tender presentation piece, don't we? Or this
I
client
know,
we're
yeah,
trying to win work.
yeah,
Social proof so important. They're your
yeah,
reviews. They're
yeah,
the bit you're going, you know what? I can show you that we do a good job because Joe Blogs down the road, he gave me 5 stars last week, or
yeah,
he gave us a really brilliant reference.
yeah,
So we're not just talking the talk, we're going to walk the walk and show you it as well.
yeah, yeah. And you know what? Giving that feedback sometimes can be a bit awkward, can't it? It's like, oh, do I really like? Are they just trying to like stroke their ego? Like, what? Why do they need this to do this? But you know what? Like, people, when you're buying something, let's say off Amazon, right? The first thing you do, you were trying to buy a power washer the other week, yeah? The
Yeah.
first thing you do, innit, you look at the reviews, you go,
What happened with that
oh,
power washer? Do you remember what happened with that power washer? So Jonathan, my husband, wanted to buy a power washer
yeah,
to basically go out the front and wash the bird poo off the cars because we live near a river. And he sent me a screenshot of the review on Amazon, which was clearly written by AI, because it's a lightweight jet wash basically, and it says ideal for elderly and even women.
yeah. That doesn't build liking and social proof, does it?
He bought it though, you know.
Did you?
Yeah, I didn't buy it, he did.
Oh, I'm gonna have words with him.
But yeah, even women. So there you
Even
go.
women. Oh, because we're so frail and like need a man
But
to do our power
yeah,
washing.
well, before we go down that road, but going back to it, we were, you look at Amazon, you go, right, how many stars
Yeah,
have I got? How many? I mean, and I think the thing is, it's true to say as well, people usually leave reviews when it's high praise or
yeah,
low. They want to
yeah,
complain about something, but we go, we walk past restaurants and we look for the busiest and we go, right, I want to eat in there.
yeah, yeah,
We
yeah,
we buy things based on other people's opinions, and it always it's always I think it's a bit
yeah,
difficult at the moment because it's really difficult to know what is a true customer
yeah.
review versus what's been orchestrated. I think there was a really interesting story that I saw recently about the lad that started a restaurant. It was a
Oh yeah,
fake restaurant in London in his garden, and he managed to get all his mates to leave great reviews, and it wasn't even real.
yeah,
And it got to
yeah,
number 1 in London or something, and it wasn't
yeah.
even a real restaurant.
No, it's crazy, isn't it?
It is
So, yeah,
crazy.
we have to approach things with like that critical lens, don't we? And I think if you're using social proof to persuade people, things like, let's say a tender situation, don't just get a written testimonial. Will your customer that's singing such high praises do a little video, even if it was like a WhatsApp 20-second, 30-second, put a face to the name, show it's actually real because anyone can just write words. Like just put a bit more.
Site visits, go and visit the client, go and speak to
Yeah,
them, go and see what they're really in the whites of the eye, see what they really have to say. But it
mm,
is so important to have that, social
yeah,
proof piece. Like,
yeah,
it's no good just saying you'll do it.
yeah.
Can you do it? And do you deliver?
Exactly. And then the last principle of persuasion, which is a fairly new one that he added actually, which is unity. So like that kind of like, you want to be, you'll buy from people or you'll be persuaded to do something from people that are your tribe. So I guess
Yeah,
if you put your change management hat on, this is like where like culture champions come in. So it's like it's not like somebody from management or HR that's saying, "Oh, these are the values and this is the culture change and this is." It's just your mate, your colleague from another department, and it's just championing it because you see it as a peer, and it's you're more likely then to be persuaded because
yeah,
you see them as a peer rather than an
yeah.
authority figure. So I think there's different principles to use depending on what you need to do. So if it is a we us kind of situation where you're like together we're going to do this,
Yeah.
then
We
yeah,
all
that
like to be a part of something, don't we? And so
yeah.
when we're part of something, we're much more likely to get on board with it.
Yeah, yeah. The example I can't not talk about this, and I
I
guess
knew
it
you were
now
going to do
feels like a challenge because Anna did make a comment of will I talk about Oldham being promoted in every podcast? Well, guess what, Anna? Just for you, number two. Here we are again. So the thing of unity, right? I can't not talk about unity and not talk about Frank Rothwell. Like the owner of our club, and when he took over the club, it was a fractured club, fractured fan base, fractured town as well. And actually, what he's done, working with the council as well, he's not just kind of done it on his own. He's pulled everything together, like just doing simple things from like how we used to protest on the pitch to get the previous like owner out, and protest down Sheepfoot Lane, like the main road down to the ground. When he bought the club, he did like a march instead, and it was like a celebration march, and it was to almost rewrite the emotional connection to
Yeah.
that place. You know what I mean? And he's done things like he's 73 year old, right, and he's just got an OBE as well, and he's just rowed the Atlantic by himself, solo rower, and he's raised like 1.5 million for Alzheimer's. Is an absolute mad as a box of frogs guy, but what he's done from a unity point of view for the town,
Brought that club together, hasn't he?
just
And the
everything
town.
like the fan base is such more closer. Like it's not, it feels totally different. Obviously, it helps when you've just won at Wembley as well. But I think it would have been very different under previous owners, and it's because he's massively put an effort into unifying. He'll sit with the fans in matches. He's a millionaire, and he'll sit with the fans. You don't get many owners doing that.
No.
And it's like I am one of you, and I want you on my team. Like it's done all sorts. Even put a prayer room in like in the stadium now, just to encourage the wider demographics from the local
Yeah.
community as well to come to football and say this is a place for you.
The thing is, I think he's done what he set out to do as well, because look how passionately you talk about him, and obviously the fans talk about him. He has
Yeah,
created unity. He's the perfect example of unity, and
yeah,
anybody who can go in their organisations who can create that kind of unity where everybody feels like they're backing something and that they're all part of it and they're all working towards something that is there for all of them.
yeah,
That's unity, isn't it?
yeah,
So,
absolutely.
is that
Yeah.
our seven?
That's seven.
Seven. So we've
Just
got, I want to say it right because I love saying it. So reciprocity,
yeah,
scarcity or scarcity, depending on which one of us you speak to, authority, consistency, liking, social proof, and last but not least, unity.
yeah. And that is how you persuade somebody. Now, obviously, that was a quick run through. We've done half day and full day workshops on this recently, so if anybody wants to chat around like what we're talking about, like, reach out. But also, there's plenty of videos on YouTube. You can check out Cialdini's work on the 7 principles. There's plenty out there, but I do think it is a critical leadership skill.
Yeah,
Anybody in the workplace, actually, not just
it's actually,
leadership,
it's not just critical for
life.
work, it works at home too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It makes me realise now why things like my mum would say, tidy your bedroom and you can have an extra half an hour on your PlayStation. I'm like, oh, it wasn't bribery. You were doing something else.
Mm.
It was like, I'm giving you half an hour on your PlayStation and you need to give me a tidy room.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But I think that I'd like us to get to is that we're doing it. We know why we're doing it, and we know what we're doing it for, and we understand those principles so we can use them in action rather than just because I think a lot of these we've talked about, people will probably nod their heads and say, "Oh, I do that all the time."
Yeah.
Well, you might do, but you're not putting any kind of effort into making sure you do
Yeah.
all of them
Yeah.
or using them at the right times because you don't understand the theory around it enough, if you
Yeah.
like. So it's getting
It's
people into a place where actually they understand them better and how to use them better.
Yeah, it's being smart within it. Like
Yeah,
it's the foundation of like, if it's the foundation of persuading somebody, then let's do it in a smart way.
yeah,
Because also there's power in them pulling 2 of the principles, 3 of the principles together.
yeah.
And
When you
also,
need them.
I think once you know them as well, there's also a massive thing here around ethical persuasion, which of course is huge. You can, if you're not being ethical when you're persuading somebody, you are bribing. So
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is the difference. So you
yeah,
need to go ethically, which is persuade ethically rather than bribe. Bribery, not cool.
yeah. Bribery's not cool.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
and that's what our sticky moment has been this week, really, hasn't it? It's apart from the sticky temperature because that is melting.
And me deciding to put a jumper on after the hottest weekend of the
Yeah,
year, it's not cool at
not ideal.
all.
No, not ideal. Well, thanks for anybody that has lasted this long. Hopefully that was useful. And I guess that brings to the end of episode 2 already. And episode 3, I've already been lining it up. We're going to have a guest for episode 3, aren't we? So yeah, it'll be either me or Louisa with a guest. And intentionally as well, not just because one of us can't be bothered turning up. What I've realised is it's actually quite difficult doing a podcast with 3 people because I feel like you talk over each other or you'll have
Yeah.
a different direction in the conversation. So yeah, we're gonna sit with one-on-one and have it as a intentional human connection conversation. Woohoo!
Times.
So happy days. See you next time.